weakling! Yora! Useless.
I would like to point out that that battle took me less than a minute.
Turns out Nobunaga is a puss.
Well, if anime has taught me anything, you know, he was. Every anime where he's like the big badass, he always gets his ass kicked.
Legendary, deemed to be unstoppable.
I would like to point out that this mission right here could eat a bag of dicks.
Best character to have in your party in Samurai vs. Zombies Defense, though.
I still haven't played it.
It's a fun mobile strategy game. I have nothing more or less to say, except for the zombie mode is harder than fuck.
So this is like one of the only missions I believe in this entire game where you actually have to explore.
Exploration? What's that?
This game feels is taboo.
Isn't that like when you have to go back to get the chainsaw?
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. We are not talking about that ever again.
Is that where you have to go find Mantis's real name?
So anyway, in this mission, we're not talking about this anymore. So, you have to find these orbs to smack around. Again, more fucking orbs.
Dante sure loves smacking balls.
I knew it. But they put them in such awkward
This game is stripping me of my creativity, Rando.
Just think. Well, at least I can say this. You know, we'll finish up with Dante's story, and then we have Lucia's, right? She's at least a shorter story than Dante.
Her greatest advantage is that she's shorter.
But
right now, I'm looking for a thread and needle to sew some stuff. Sounds far more exciting.
And again, I mean, the combat in this isn't even any fun, which is a fucking travesty when you consider this is a hack and slash game. Well, it's supposed to be. I'll say that.
You know, I don't like most hack and slash games, to be honest.
I fucking love them.
It's usually hit square, hit triangle, hit square, hit triangle, hit square, hit triangle, circle to use projectile attack.
Well, see, that's... Unfortunately, that is most of it, but a good one is still one of my favorite genres to play. Unfortunately, good ones.
I know. I am, talking, about blood will tell now, aren't I?
Well, if you think about it, that's fucking all God of War is, honestly. Exactly what you described. You hit square a bunch, and then when they give you the circle prompt, you do a quick time event and kill an enemy.
Is it for every enemy?
No, but every boss.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Some enemies...
I think I've already gone on the rant about how, I felt like that just totally killed, not X-Men Legends, but, Marvel Ultimate Alliance for me.
Fucking Galactus.
Fucking Galactus!
I mean, I get he should be a big deal that you don't just beat up, but there should have been more to it than that.
God, they could have just added extra layers to the gameplay, not just...
I guess
you run, you hit the 3 tower things, then you play, then you take control of Silver Surfer, couldn't they have had, a multi-tiered boss fight, if that's, what they were going for?
It's fucking Galactus. He should, I knew he wasn't gonna be just some little, pushover that you just run up and beat up, but, yeah.
It's just, all the quick time events pissed me off. And they were so fucking pointless up until that point. You could choose to just take a hit.
My least favorite quick time events, and luckily even this game doesn't have any real quick time events, because they weren't as big, because Onimusha, I think, had just barely come out. Or not Onimusha, sorry, Shenmue. Shenmue had just barely come out.
Yeah.
That was like the grandfather of quick time events. but that was more of a cinematic story than it was like an action game.
Yeah, and like in Shenmue, it felt deliberate. You know, like those quick time events meant things to the plot. Like if you fucked up the quick time event, most of the time you either had to like restart or the plot changed slightly.
And as much as I hate the game, Heavy Rain is similar. You know, it's a cinematic event thing that if you fuck up, it'll either have small consequences or you'll like lose a suspect or something. And thus you'll have to do more work or it'll change the story, which I'm fine with. But in an action game that if you fuck it up, the boss gets 10% of his health back and you have to refight him, that is bullshit.
Yeah.
And you know,
I do like, you can't really call it a quick time thing in Blood Will Tell though, but to do finishing moves and to get more, items and power-ups out of enemies, you can charge up your sword and it'll go into what's called a berserk mode, I think, rage mode, something, you know, some generic name like that. And then what happens is like a counter with all the buttons you have to press in sequence comes up, and then you just have to break it. But if you fuck up the sequence or you run out of time, then you lose. But the character still dies.
See, I'm fine with that, honestly. I'm fine with finishing moves that even if you lose, you're out some extra XP or some items or something like that, you know? Something that's...
it's great up until the final boss, where it just, you know, it just goes too far. Have to hit a 48 combo sequence, you cocksuckers. I think the most I ever hit before that boss was 20. And I was like, yeah, I got 20! Because it really is that fucking hard!
Here's some more of the Blood Goats.
Blood Goat! Blood Goat! Yeah!
Blood goat.
And as you see, I'm really putting that aerial combo to use.
Gopinus. Fuck it, Mantis.
Abyss Goat.
Abyss Goat.
That's the name of the next goat.
That sounds like a satanic version of the Nabisco Cookie Company.
Nabisco has been bought out by Abyss Goat.
And the Keebler elves are furious. They declare war. I knew those elves were evil.
With the minions of Abyss Goat, which are the Goatlings. It all makes sense.
Abyss Goat. The Abyss Goat Corporation. That turns out to be the real enemy of Devil May Cry 2.
You are fighting a corporation. Arius, or whatever the hell his name is, the main villain in this, is the head of a corporation. Which, you know, the new one totally ripped off, and, you know, this ripped off from Darksiders. So...
Yeah,
you remember that great corporation that you had to take down at Darksiders?
Yeah.
They were a bunch of assholes.
But I found them so intriguing and deeply developed as characters.
Total opposite of this game.
Especially Howard.
Dude, fuck Howard, it was all about Johnson.
Hey, he screwed over Mrs. Muir.
Yeah, but Mrs. Muir was a bitch. She totally fired, you know, Hanson. I know we can keep that going far longer, but we're not going to.
I don't know how much longer I can bring that up. Like this just sounds like a really good edition of Ace Attorney. But now I just have war, like an image of war in a tuxedo. Objection!
I would totally play that. I really would.
Darksiders, Ace Attorneys.
No,
I knew they were evil.
No.
I knew they were evil all along.
It wouldn't be War in the tuxedo. War would be the client, and Death, who is trying to clear Ward's name in the second game, is going to be the attorney.
It's Casey Jones' hockey face?
Yes. He's the attorney.
And unfortunately, they didn't make Darksiders 3 or 4, so We don't know what, do we know what, famine and pestilence are supposed to look like?
It's not famine and pestilence, actually.
What? So you're gonna have the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I knew there was gonna be something stupid because it would be like, yeah, you're gonna play the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, but you play war and death first. I was like, well then who the fuck wants to play famine and pestilence?
I think pestilence is still one, but instead of famine, they have wrath.
Wrath, which is another word for killing people. Something that both war and death do.
Well, I don't know how they would do famine. I mean, he starves his enemies to death.
Hey, you know what? Famine was one of the best of the Final Horsemen and Uncanny X-Force. You can fucking do famine.
But the reason why I know it's wrath is that in the Darksiders 2, eventually you get a gun, and Death says that's my brother's Wrath's gun.
Boo!
However, that means pestilence is female. Because in the ending scene of Darksiders 2, you see all 4 of them, at least with silhouettes, and 1 is female. So
that's just so stupid. You're gonna base it off of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
It's actually, well, I know it's based on 4, but they said something in it that it's not like the traditional 4 horsemen. Because they're...
obviously!
Because it's not necessarily like the 4 horsemen of the human apocalypse. What it is they're, I know you know this, but they're the Guardians' pets or whatever. And what you realize in the second one is that they're a race of half demon and half angel things or whatever called the Nephilim. And those 4 were given the task of annihilating their entire race. So
the Nephilim, which in Christian mythology were the children of the Seraphim which were the main villains in Legacy of Kain.
Oh my god, you just kind of did some meta shit there and just kind of reworked that into a ripoff.
The 6 degrees of Christian mythology in Darksiders just being a steroided up version of the Legacy of Kain series.
But... So, it's like each one of them was given their personality because they were, again, they annihilated their whole race who was destroying the balance, and that's why, I think they get away with not having, famine because they didn't starve any of them to death.
Yeah, but, it's obvious what they were basing these characters off of when they were writing the mythology, and you can just go, yeah, we're gonna have war, we're gonna have death, we're gonna have pestilence. What's the other horseman? The Wrath. Wrath is a horseman, right? Wrath was one of the 7 sins. The 7 sins were committed by the 4 horsemen, right?
There's another...
The 4 horsemen were huge characters in Dante's Inferno.
By the way, there was another small jump cut. I don't know if you noticed or not.
What does it have to do with my rant, Rando?
I don't know, because we're talking about Darksiders and we're playing Devil May Cry.
Hey, I brought up Dante's Inferno to try and bring us back.
Okay, fair enough. And now you're gonna say a pseudo kind of just ripped off Dante's Inferno.
This is the worst rendition of the Divine Comedy I've ever seen. Unless Dante gets eaten by a 3-faced Satan, then shit out and eaten again.
You do fight a 3-faced monster.
See? There's no originality left anymore.
Oh, and it's one of the worst boss fights in the game.
What? No. Oh
yeah, well I shouldn't say a 3-faced monster, you fight a 3-faced head.
Satan only did have a head. That's something you don't know about the Bible. They cut it out, but I have original pressing.
The original pressing of the Bible.
I have a first edition in my possession.
This is before the King James Dick edited it.
Yeah, that's right. Stupid King Dick.
I don't know, I don't trust a king named Jim.
Shakespeare killed you on purpose.
I don't trust a king named Jim.
No. Not even King James Rolfe, who were all required as members of the internet and YouTube community to worship anyway.
And as you can see, this is the,
It's a line from the movie. It's funny, because it's a line from the movie. Thank you, Pat the NES Punk. Now... Oh, yeah, that's right. Devil May Cry 2 really bland level design, the graphics aren't that great, and Dante sucks balls, and...
That's another complaint. I
it.
mean, this is actually, if I doubt you remember, because I didn't when I first played. This is just a recycle of the very first level.
I thought I was getting some sort of deja vu here.
In the very, second mission, I think, is when you come here for a key. And they just make you come back through here to collect all the fucking orbs or whatever to open the path.
The very second mission? What are you, Bruce Buffer now? Winner in the very second round by knockout!
Well, one of the things I was going to say was the very first, but then I guess I corrected myself without realizing I still said very first.
I do dumb shit like that all the time.
I auto-correct myself in the middle of a sentence and don't bother going back and changing the rest of the sentence.
Damn human spell check.
It sucks being intelligent.
Yeah, I know. So I've heard.
You still are not Olsen, so, I mean, you're smarter than a brick.
The brick outsmarted me! Oh.
Are you playing chess with that brick? Yeah, but I haven't beaten him yet.
Loses to Boggle playing chicken.
That was like one of the only things ever about King of the Hill that was any good.
I live with King of the Hill fans who just love that show.
I fucking hate that show.
And I don't like Mike Judge, and I know, internet nerds. I'm the Antichrist. I don't like Mike Judge. I don't like Mike Judge. Love Beavis and Butthead, but I don't like Mike Judge. I think he's a pretentious, arrogant, elitist asshole.
Who canceled Beavis and Butthead because of King of the Hill, only to have King of the Hill fucking fail.
After 13 seasons of making millions of dollars. What a failure.
Did it really go on 13 seasons?
13 seasons! Oh my god.
I thought it died after like 2. Oh my god.
It went on about 12 and a half seasons too long.
Yeah.
But
I stopped watching it after the very few episodes. I'm like, he took a bland character from Beavis and Butthead and built the show around him.
Pretty much, and then after that he did The Good Family, which was just a character based off of David Van Driesen.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh god, you thought King of the Hill was bad.
That good, huh?
Oh, yeah, anyway. My problem with King of the Hill is the hills. Except for Bobby and Luann. Bobby and Luann are okay, but not the best characters. If that show had been called King of the Bill, if Bill Dotree was the main character, I would have loved it. If that show was called Dale of the Hill...
That's the biggest problem. His friends are fucking funnier and better than Hank.
Boomhauer's dang old crazy awesome super show, by God, you know what I mean?
You don't hate that King of the Hill, and here I am.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here we go. Here's the best boss in this entire game.
A placenta with an eyeball coming out.
No. I'll see if you recognize him. He should look very familiar, and it's not Giant Monkey Man.
Not Giant Monkey Man!
He's not even from this game, but he's still the best fucking boss in this game. And honestly, one of the more challenging ones. Without being a real challenge either. Let's see if... you should recognize him.
Okay, got it. Ah, no! Not him! Not him! Oh!
They completely ripped him off from DMC1.
Oh god, I hate that bastard!
They dumb him down in this game. Look at this.
I fucking hated
Do you
that
remember how
boss.
hard he is in DMC1?
Do I know? Would I be so upset by seeing him if I didn't know?
But look how fast he goes down. And how easy.
He's just a rip-off of the Materia Keeper from FF7 anyway. He just needs the Trine spell.
But he was so much harder in the first one.
Fuck you, Spider-Man. How much worse would Man-Spider be if they gave him a big old thorax?
Scorpion tail. Look at that. He just stands. He barely attacks you. And
So he's a scorpion, but he doesn't have pincers.
Right, he's a scorpion spider. A sporpion.
A spiderpian?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, emphasis on the derp. Spiderpion!
But look at this, he's almost dead already.
Fuck you, magma spider guy. God damn it.
And you fought him like, what, 3 times or 2 times at least in the first game? And he was
Oh,
a bitch
God.
every single time.
Every single... I remember, like, playing that and going, this guy is too fucking hard to be a first boss.
And that achievement's kind of funny, and it says not just any ordinary human, because that's what Dante tells him in the first game. Is when you're not just any human or whatever, and he's like, no, you're the son of Sparta and all that other bullshit.
Sparta!
This is son of Sparta! Fuck this gauntlet bullshit.
Take that, placenta eyes.
Now, here is one thing I hate. I actually miss a,
Oh my god, it's a giant literal chocolate starfish!
where's the hot dog flavored water, and where is limp dick? I mean biscuit.
Where is limp receding hairline? I mean, Fred Durst.
So, there's actually a hidden item in this area, and I know where it's at. But if you fuck this up the first time, you cannot get it at all, period. And I'll show it to you when we get over here on the other side. But this is obviously a gauntlet that you have to kill every enemy within the time limit.
So, oh, it's a gauntlet. So is Dante supposed to be Red Warrior?
No.
I was always Green Jester myself. I'm a Gauntlet Legends on the Dreamcast guy myself. Although I did love playing it on the Nintendo.
I remember Gauntlet.
I was a blue. I always had to be Red Wizard because my sister demanded to be Blue Valkyrie.
Oh.
I didn't mind her being the Valkyrie, but blue was a better color than red to me.
That right there, that mound holds one of the amulet pieces called Chrono Heart, which, you know, Aerial Heart gives you flying and yada yada yada. Quick Heart gives you speed. This one slows time down, which would be really fucking good for this gauntlet. But the only way to get it is you have to knock a certain enemy into it.
Oh god, I hate that crap.
And it's an enemy that if you fuck up this gauntlet, you have to redo it, right?
Like, you're not a big driving game fan, right?
No, I'm not.
No. So never really played the Burnout games?
I've played Burnout 3 and, I think Paradise.
Yeah, but, like, they all kind of say that Burnout Paradise is, like, I think is, like, the best driving game, and, well, I don't know how many years. I love that game.
My favorite driving game outside of, obviously, like, kart games like Mario Kart and stuff like that, I still remember Speed Devils.
Speed Devils is Riot. Hasn't aged that well, but it's still fun for nostalgia for me. But anyway, like, what drove me crazy, it still drives me crazy about the Burnout games, is that to unlock the shortcuts, it's not enough to just crash your car into them. You have to crash somebody else's car into them.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this one...
And that's really hard to do when you have a bunch of other drivers trying to fucking kill you.
Well, in this one, I think, you see these little black mofos that I'm hitting? You have to knock one of them into the mount. It can only be them.
They're Highlanders!
And if you
can only be one.
And I admit, I fucked this up coming up here. But, if you fuck up the gauntlet, you have to restart it. Which, okay, I get it. At least you don't have restarted the entire mission. But, it dumbs it down and gives you weaker enemies that do not work. That you cannot slam them into it to get the credit. So if you fuck this up, you're just fucked. You lose the time. Are you
gonna fuck it up here?
Yes, because I don't kill my own time.
I hit pause on accident. I'll be fine. I'll just be like, 2 seconds behind you.
I paused for a second. You at 3:35?
Yeah, about 3:37 to be exact.
But, okay, so yeah, if you fuck it up, you have to restart, and it gives you weaker enemies.
That don't work.
That you do not work if you slam them into the mount.
So what's the fucking point?
It's just to give you the ability to slow time. That's what you get out of it, which is fine, which is cool. But if you fuck it up once, you're just fucked.
Max Dante.
These birds are so much easier once you learn that damn aerial combo.
Max Payne may cry.
Max may cry. Fuck that auto target. God damn it. That's like, I fucking hate auto targeting in action games. Just fucking rocket launch the damn birds. Once again, this game has turned into a shooter.
Yep. Shooting at Puya.
Puta.
One of my favorite 90s metal bands. I mean, I didn't learn about them until after the 90s, obviously, but
Right.
their name's Puya. They're from, or Puya from Puerto Rico. They're really cool because they play like, you know, like they do like heavy metal, but with like old mariachi instruments and
cool as
introductions
shit.
and things. It's very cool music. And did that blood goat just run up and drop kick your ass?
Yes. Look,
Blood goats are officially the best enemies since Bob. Bob, the greatest enemy in video game history.
I guess I don't remember Bob.
From House of the Dead 2, the big fat dude who drop kicked you.
That's right. Oh my god. Yes.
Enemies who are not Maven, obviously, who drop kick you are automatically the coolest enemies in video games.
Maven needs to be an enemy in video games.
He's an enemy to humanity. Fuck that unibrow bastard.
Last time I heard he was in jail or whatever.
Is he in jail for sucking too bad? For crimes against humanity?
That should be it, but I don't know. And voila, there, I beat the gauntlet.
Yeah, they just ripped that transformation sequence off from Dirge of Cerberus.
I still have yet to play that game. It's okay. Not great.
Yeah. You know, the graphics are beautiful.
I still want to know how they... I just want to play it just to see how they handle his transformation.
He only has one transformation until the end.
Oh,
that's like...
lame.
That's really what, like, part of what killed it for me. Like, the gameplay is, like, kind of like, you know, not that great shooter, but not an awful unplayable shooter, because I still beat it.
Right.
But, like, there was that, and then it's like, you only can transform into the Gallon Beast.
That's lame.
And I was like, oh yeah, like, I want to be able to, you know, like, have, like, action melee battles as Death Gigas and Hellmasker, and Chaos comes at the end, but, you know, he's the supersonic, you know.
Right.
You only play the final level as Chaos.
Which, that's cool. I can get that, because that's his final limit, right?
Yeah, and he is really badass. You can shred through enemies with Chaos.
Can you do the Satan Slam?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, lame. I just got drop kicked again! It's a complete debacle!
The blood goats are going for the child, brother!
Just give him a bad haircut, then we're good.
Give them handlebar mustaches. I want these guys to be totally retro 80s wrestlers.
Oh, here's an elevator level that, guess what, doesn't suck.
What the hell? There's enemies on this elevator!
Yeah, exactly. And a couple of waves of them to boot. But once again, it's all made worrisome because you have that one combo that hits everything in that fucking elevator. I just sit there and took that slap. I didn't know. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And
another thing about Dirge of Cerberus was I was kind of hoping to have at least like one new transformation.
Right.
Like have one new thing that Vincent can turn into. And also another case where they used characters from the Final Fantasy world, and then underused them. Tifa's underused, Cloud is underused.
I was about to say, I'm sure they're there, but I don't see them being the main focus, but...
Yuffie's hilarious.
That's surprising.
I actually like that character because of her, like, just, like, her chemistry with Vincent is terrific, because you have, like, loud, obnoxious, you know, arrogant, fuck up Yuffie, and just talking, like, stoic, gothic, semi-emo Vincent. And I just love it when she's, like, talking about Cloud and Tifa and all this stuff that's going on in Midgard, and he just looks out the window, and her voice just fades in the background.
See?
Yeah, uh-huh.
That's awesome. Now, if you want to talk about underutilized, just watch Advent Children.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't hate that movie.
I don't hate it, but you have, like, characters, you know, obviously it's about Cloud. Even Tifa plays a small part.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, and Red 13 was always my favorite character, and he got the shaft in that one, he got the shaft in Dirge of Cerberus, too. I mean, it's like, you don't even see Red 13 until a final cutscene.
Well, see, like, I was always a big Sid fan. That was one of my favorite, incarnations of Sid. And
I kinda liked the Dennis Leary meets, Matthew McConaughey voice they gave him.
I could see that for Sid. There's my Fandango pose, you see that shit?
Dante, go! These jokes write themselves, kids.
But, you know, it's... Again, in the movie, like, Sid only has, like, what, one scene? And he's the pilot, which I get, but that's just it. That's all he is. It's just the pilot.
Yeah, it's just... Squeenix.
Former kings of the RPG genre, now they're the laughingstock.
Pretty much. It's just they don't know how to handle their own fucking IPs. And watching the documentary about the making of Advent Children, and like they really just revealed what was wrong with that movie, in that they had a bunch of young programmer kids who had no, you know, very little experience writing a screenplay. They've written scripts for video games. And so many of them were just, you know, very arrogantly saying shit like, well, we didn't really think too deeply about it. We just thought if it looked cool, we would put it in. You know.
That might work for certain video games, but that's not going to work for a movie.
Yeah, that was the problem with it. Like, we had people who were more concerned with looking cool than they were with making a quality film.
And see, I can actually believe it, because some of the fight scenes and stuff in Advent Children were cool to watch.
Oh, set pieces are great.
And that's just it. That's all that movie really has going for it. And, because to me, they completely destroyed Cloud's character in that, because they made him go all emo back over Aerith.
I know, but yeah, it wasn't that about him. Like, I felt a theme of that game was him being able to let go of his mistakes.
Yeah, because by the
so
end
much
of
of that plot revolves around that.
And by the end of the game, he really was over it.
Yeah.
He still carried it, obviously, but it wasn't enough to make him all mopey and emo over Aerith anymore.
Yeah, and it was just like one of those things where, like, I would have liked to have seen Aerith, you know, in a more positive role, like that she's somebody who inspired them to do better, like she did in the game.
Considering she sacrificed herself for the planet?
You know, well, yeah, and that was like the whole, like, you know, the plot line near the end of the game where, like, that was whose memory they were fighting for.
Yeah, and the movie completely destroys that.
Yeah, and then they turn it into this mopey Squall Leonhardt
God damn,
love
I hate
story.
Squall.
And I really do too.
But at least they went from Squall to Zidane.
Yeah.
I like him. He's one of my,
Zidane my favorite out of the bunch, just because he's so, like, I think purposely anti. He's
mopey.
Just the anti-stereotype of all those characters. Like, Cloud's a mopey emo, but at least he has a good reason to be, because his life is so fucked up.
But then you have Squall, his only downfall is he's an orphan living in this luxurious school,
and surrounded by people who love him. Oh my god, what a sad existence. Gets the hot chick in the end. And then when he puts his life on the line to, like, you know, to get the hot chick, and she's like, Squall, you saved me! Come here and give me a hug! He's like, I'm too badass to have emotions for you now. It's kind of like if the game was starring Dante.
But see, that's
Dante Fantasy 8.
But see, that's one reason I really like Dante, at least from the third one on, is that he's the badass who knows he's badass, who knows, who at least thinks he can get every chick he wants, so he tries.
Does he fail? Remember, I haven't played 3 or 4.
He does in the beginning, but after obviously saving the world.
Boo!
But after
He should fail all the time.
well, to be fair, he does save her and the world, so I mean, it's...
So of course he's, entitled to a booty call afterwards,
But to be fair, it's not like they become like...
Seeing as how she's now the damsel in distress and a trope against women, feminist frequencies.
But
fuck you, Anita Sarkeesian.
But it's not like she's his lover. It's just that she now likes him, but not in love with him.
Let's just be friends.
Exactly.
Dante may be friends.
And what's funny is like everything that's happened in the third one, she now thinks he owes her money.
Devil may love you, but not in love with you.
And it's the same way with like Trish. Neither one of them are in love with him, but he acts like they are. Like, they just want...
I like arrogant failure characters.
It's like, he knows he's badass, and they know he's badass, but he thinks he's just the hot shit, and they don't care.
He's the Daffy Duck of action games.
Yeah. Except for, he could, actually kick his rival's ass. Poor Daffy never could.
Dante season! Virgil season! Dante season! Virgil season!